What is she doing here? I know that's what y'all are thinking. I was absent. I ran away from YouTube. Honestly, YouTube is a whole nother animal, but I'm here. I'm here to tame that feral animal. Today we're going to do this purple sparkly smoky. You guys asked for it, so I delivered. I hope you guys are excited that I'm back on YouTube. Let me know what you want to see, and before I just keep on chit-chatting, let's just get started. Here we go. So I'm going to start by priming my eyes with my Gerard clean canvas. I'm going to try to do a little bit today, just a little bit. We just want a thin layer because we're actually going to use another Stila liquid shadow to blend into this. We'll go ahead and coat our lid to our brow bone. Now I'm going to take this Stila shadow. This is from the Camera Ready Duo, and we're just going to run this shade right through here. Grabbing a flat concealer, I'm just going to tap this and melt this in. It's just kind of going to tint our base we got going on here. It's going to make our purples really stand out. And then what in tarnation did I do here? Lord have mercy. I'm just going to tap that out. Get rid of that. We almost had a little bit of chaos there. So I picked up the eyeshadow just on one side of this Mario Sephora shadow brush, and instead of swiping or doing any kind of these motions, I'm just going to start pressing this right on the outer part of the eye, and then with whatever's left on my brush, we're going to apply it through here. We're doing a very soft spotlight or halo eye today. So just take your time. Notice I haven't picked up any more product. I feel when we're dealing with really deep purples like this, it can get out of control really fast. So I want you to really just take your time and work with what you have on the brush, and then kind of step back and go, do I really need to pick up more? Because it can get out of control extremely fast. I kind of want to show you how I'm picking up the eyeshadow with the brush as well. So instead of going in here, going back and forth, and then going worst noise in the world, I'm just going to go in and notice I'm even holding my brush very far back. I'm just going to tap right into it. It's deliberate, and I have the exact amount of eyeshadow on here. I don't need to be beating it. We can just go right in. So I went ahead and placed that shadow we just picked up. It should be worked in by now. I'm going to actually wipe my brush off just on my little makeup towel. And from there, I'm just going to start to tap and smooth it out this way. Notice I've not scratched yet, and I'm only tapping and pressing for now. So go ahead and tap out that way. You see that more even blend that we get? And we have a lot more control. So we're also going to tap over this way, and we're going to hop into another palette to grab a transition shade. Now taking that beautiful violet shade, we're just going to start to tap that above and transition it out. I'm telling you, the smallest amount work in such small sections with purple. To this day, purple's the one color that can get away from me. So just take your time and tap it up. Now taking that very deep shade, and this is a pencil brush. It is a prototype, so I can't tell you the exact name. We're going to add a little extra depth here by pressing this in the deepest part of my eye. And we don't want to bring it up too far. Once we relax our eye, we don't want it to come out too far. And then I'm going to take what's left on the brush and tap it over here as well. Now we have a fluffy brush, and we went back into the Morphe Icy Fantasy palette, and we're just taking that nice peach shade and just kind of pulling it across. And by now everything is set, so we can just do some circular motions. Now to just make sure it's nice and tacky through here, we're just going to put down a little bit more of that Stila shadow, and we're going to even that out with our flat concealer brush. Just kind of tap it around. Now get ready for the zhuzh. Now once again, this is a prototype brush, but stay tuned. Wink, wink. So I'm gonna take this brush and I'm gonna press it first. And then from there, we'll kind of drag it. Now notice that I'm focusing it right in the center. And I'm not even taking it over here. I know you see those gaps, we'll get back to them. But just put a small amount right through the center. And notice that I also focus most of the product towards the lash line, and then as I go up, I gradually fade it. Now I'm just gonna take my pencil brush and whatever's left, and I'm just gonna start to feather it over into the shimmer. I'm using a very delicate hand to do this. And I didn't add any more product. Whatever is on here is enough to blend. We're gonna mosey on over to the glitter side of the Stila. There's a matte side and a glitter side, and now we're over here in the glitter. Did we think we wouldn't end up here? And just hit it with a little whisper of shimmer. Now, we're gonna grab this Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade Whatever Black. Y'all almost see me draw on my nose, dear Lord help. And we're gonna just pull that through here and through here. And then my ice maker is gonna sabotage this video. Back with the pencil brush, we're just going to pull this along here. We're actually gonna do a little baby wing, little baby wing, baby around. But first we wanna lay down just a little bit of dimension, and then we want the smallest amount of the black through here, just enough to hide our lash band. I'm taking this Ofra Verified Eyeliner, and I'm just going to pull it from here. And I want to lift the eye, so we're going to go upwards instead of out this way like I normally do. So we're just kind of pulling that up. And we'll pull some on the inner corner as well. Normally, what I'll say is to look directly into a mirror. I have to do all kinds of wildness to film this, but the best way is to just look straight into your mirror. I'm doing this without anything. I can't see anything I'm doing. And just relax your eye and just kind of go from underneath and pull it down. Ben's actually laughing at me right now. Whew. Do it with a mirror, but just look straight on. It's gonna be so much easier to find your tear duct that way. Now we're gonna take this Colourpop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Crybaby. I think this one might be discontinued, but I found something similar if you mix it with white eyeshadow. It's a Makeup Forever, there went the lid, we'll never find that again. Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade Worldly Mauve. I'm kind of curious. Actually, it looks pretty similar, it just might not be as light. But if you were to mix this with some white eyeliner, you'd have it. It looks pretty identical, maybe just a touch darker. So for today's skin, I'm gonna take this Illamasqua. This is the mattifying primer. Of course, everything's gonna be listed below. And this is an Anissa angled care brush. And we're gonna focus this mattifying primer right through the center. So this is gonna look like peanut butter for a second, but it's so beautiful once it blends out. And I also want you to remember that my shoulder, and look at that, so much darker. Remember, my face is retinoled and exfoliated. But anyways, this is the Chantecaille. I mean, look at that. It just never lets me down. Future Skin Foundation in the shade Nude. And I'm using an Anissa Pinnacle Foundation brush to press this in. And as much as you see on my face, this is all we're gonna use for my entire face. This is a very lightweight gel foundation. And it just feels like nothing on the skin. It's just so beautiful. Don't forget your ears. I'll come back and clean my earring in a second. Now I'm gonna take this little concealer brush here, and I have the smallest amount of foundation on this brush. Such a tiny amount, but we're gonna take it through here because purple can cause a lot of shadows in here. We wanna make sure that we cancel all those shadows. So just a little bit of foundation is gonna make sure that it's all nice and blended. And now that I have almost next to nothing on this brush, I'm gonna take it right across here. Remember, the smallest amount, but this is going to make sure that our eyeshadow just looks nice and blended. So since we have on the dark purple shadows, we're going to do a little bit of corrector. Again, this is really going to help with shadows and just making sure our under eye is nice and bright without us using a white concealer. This is going to work out a lot better. So I'm going to put a little bit here, and then I'm going to grab my Anissa Angled Concealer Brush. Now that we have our brush, I'm just going to really work this into the skin. It's actually going to be a very thin layer, and it's just going to be enough to cancel. It's not going to add to our concealer that we're going to be putting on top. Now we're going to brighten up and just do a little bit of highlighting. This is the Beauty Blender Concealer. I wear the shade 3.15C, and just a little bit. And then of course, just a little bit. I like always the smallest amount of product on my forehead. Grabbing our Anissa Angled Concealer Brush, once again, I'm gonna start pressing this into the skin. I really love this brush because it acts more like a finger and it doesn't absorb like sponges sometimes can. So just really get in here, press it in, take it down the sides of the nose. It's gonna look pretty outrageous for a second, but it will blend it in. I know this is YouTube and we don't have 6 or 7 minutes for me just to show you how long I blend my concealer, but I do want to let you know that it's about 6 or 7 minutes of just tapping. Now I'm going to take a little bit of Huda Tantour in the shade Light. I really want you to notice where my natural contour is here on my cheek. But what I'm doing is I'm bringing that just a little bit above. Don't let this harsh line frighten you. We'll come back in with our foundation brush and tap everything together. But first, we're just getting our shape. And this brush is a prototype. You guys just have to bear with me. And then whatever's left on my brush, I'll just go around my forehead. And I also want you to notice that I have not set my face. Nothing is set. We can still go in with all of our creams and not have any issues. And I'm still tapping it in. Now we're just going to take our Anissa Pinnacle Foundation Brush, the same foundation brush that we used before, and we're just going to tap this all in. Just take your time, make sure we don't have any harsh lines, but you can also kind of clean it up if your bronzer has came down too far. You can just use the side of the brush and tap. I'm kind of going to do that around my nose as well. So I'm taking this Fenty blush. This is in the shade Strawberry Drip. It's like a peachy pink. I love this one. And I'm actually going to apply it right through here on the highest point of my cheekbone. It's just going to add a little bit of lift to the face. Really pull this upwards. There we go. That looks so nice. And then whatever's left on my brush, I'll go across my forehead. And I'm not going to do my nose today. Sometimes I go across my nose, but this is a little more zhuzhy of a look. I just want to remind you, nothing on my face is set. There's no powder. We're not there yet. All of these creams need to go on before we get to any powder. I'm going to grab the foundation brush one more time and just kind of press this in through here. I saw a little bit of a line. I didn't like that line. That line is not a party. So we're just going to go back over, melt our blush into our bronzer. And we're almost ready for powder. Grabbing my Anissa concealer brush one more time, I'm going to look up, make sure that everything is pressed in underneath my eye. And I like to set underneath my eyes first. So I'm grabbing that Givenchy powder on a Laura Mercier puff. And it's going to look like I'm baking, but I'm going to take my time and press all of this in until it all completely disappears underneath my eye. So we're not baking, we're working this back into the concealer. Now before I set the rest of my face with powder, I'm going to do something magical. This is going to change your little makeup life. I'm going to grab this Maybelline Lasting Fix Makeup Setting Spray up to 16-hour wear matte finish, okay? Remember, we've only set underneath our eyes. And the reason I like to do this is because when we spray this, at the very end, we sometimes get splotchiness, and you can probably even see it right now. But that's okay because right through here is not set. So we'll go back over it with the puff and we'll be able to really press it in. But this is just such a good tip, and it's really gonna make your makeup last. See all that right there? that would look like that even after powder with our setting spray. No! Now I'm grabbing a MAC 252S brush, and I'm just gonna tap around these hard to reach areas. I also want you to notice I'm pressing this in. I love this brush because it's so flat and it just fits here so perfectly. And you can see that disappearing right now. And it's also just working that setting spray into the skin. I'm telling y'all, summer ready. Look at that. Oh, I could watch that all day. It's oddly satisfying to me. So just press this in through the center of your forehead and around your brows. For the rest of the powder on the face, we're actually going to use a pressed powder. These work better on the outer perimeter of the face, and I find that loose powders work better underneath the eyes and through the center because they're more finely milled. But we're just going to start here with the Laura Mercier Puff, the same one, and we're just going to start to press this in. We only need a little bit, and we're just working it into the foundation and the concealer. If you find that you do get oily, you can do the same technique through here or wherever you get oily. This is a really good tip. I'm just gonna grab the Stila matte eyeshadow and just run that along underneath our lash line here. And then I'm gonna grab our pencil brush. I might not even add product. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do is clean up this vanity when we're done here. Lord have mercy, send help. And I'm just going to pull this along underneath here and just kind of smudge it. I don't want it too dark underneath my eye, but we definitely wanted to add that purple. So y'all know that I can't be tamed and I always need more shimmer. I don't know why. But I'm taking a MAC 228 and this is a Makeup Forever Starlit Diamond Powder in the shade 103. And I'm just applying this through the center. Just from, oh Lord have mercy. I guess we're doing extra shimmer. Oh my God, that's so pretty though. Oh Lordy day, give it to me. Ooh. And then I'm gonna wipe off the brush just a little bit, and whatever's left, I'm just gonna put right underneath here. Now I'm gonna grab this lip liner. Well, technically this is a artist color pencil from Makeup Forever in the shade Wherever Walnut. I love these because you can use them all over their face. And now we're just gonna go over top of that lip liner with MAC Creme de Nude. Now I'm gonna take my lip liner once again and just kind of perfect and push the lipstick into the lip liner. This also helps you get a really nice defined lip line. Now I'm going to use this Illamasqua Beyond Powder. It's in the shade Days, and this is a MAC 240S. And I want you to notice that instead of just swiping back and forth, I'm pressing this into my skin. This is really going to help with texture. A lot of times when we go back and we put powder highlighter on, sometimes it can make our pores look larger. So if we really take our time and tap it, it's going to smooth this area out. And from there, we can just kind of bring it up. This one has a lot of pink reflect in it, and I just thought it would be really pretty with our purple eye. I'm actually just gonna add a little bit of that to the center of my lip as well. All right guys, here we are with the finished look. This was so much fun to create. I'm getting back on YouTube now. I'm super excited, but I really just want to bring it back to education, and I hope you guys enjoy that. So make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, tell your friends, and just know that I love you all so much, and we'll see you next time.